Train, 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 round and round we go. You know your train.
When we explore Fallout 4's wasteland, one question always comes up. Why can't we use cars or even trains? Everywhere we go, we see rusted locomotives scattered along the tracks and subway stations frozen in time. These relics sit silently, almost as if they're waiting to tell us their story. But what role did trains actually play in the Fallout universe? Why were they so important before the bombs fell? And why are they left as lifeless ruins after? Today, we'll try to answer those questions. We'll look back at the history of trains before the Great War, how they appear across Fallout 4, and even dive into some myths and hidden meanings players have found along the way. So grab your caps, pack your stim packs, and get ready, because we're heading straight down the tracks. Trains were a backbone of American industry and transport before 2077. They moved massive amounts of freight and carried passengers. Even though Fallout's world had futuristic inventions like fusion cars and vertibirds, trains stayed relevant because of their efficiency. Some were even rumored to be automated, reflecting Fallout's theme of pre-war robotics. When we talk about trains in Fallout 4, we actually find three main types. But what were they used for, and why are they scattered across the wasteland? Freight trains. First, the most common, freight trains. We see them everywhere, abandoned locomotives and rusted boxcars. Many are branded with N, H, and M, or New Hampshire and Massachusetts, a fictional railway company. But why are they here? Well, before the Great War, freight trains symbolized the industrial backbone of New England. They were the veins that carried supplies, raw materials, and goods through the region. Subway trains. Second, the subway trains. These belonged to Boston's MTA system. Sleek, silver designs with hints of yellow paint. We mostly find them frozen in time, deep underground in subway stations, sometimes even derailed above ground. And what do they tell us? They perfectly capture Fallout's theme of urban decay, a modern city frozen at the moment the bombs dropped. Military trains, and finally the rarest, military trains. One famous example is near Ten Pines Bluff, a wrecked train car holding a secret. Inside, there's a power armor cage controlled by a military terminal. So why does this matter? It suggests the U.S. military used trains not just for soldiers, but also to transport classified technology across the country. A reminder of just how militarized America was before the war. So, from industry to public transit to the military machine, Fallout 4's trains tell the story of a society on the move and a world that suddenly stopped. After the Great War, trains were left as derelict relics. No power grids, no maintenance, and collapsed infrastructure meant they could never run again. In-game, Bethesda designed them as static objects, set pieces for storytelling, not usable vehicles. Fallout 4's Commonwealth is scattered with these derelict relics, and each one tells a story if you stop to look. At Bedford Station, we find a freight train site tied to a failed railroad synth rescue. The wreckage and skeletons still echo the cost of their mission. Moving east of Starlight Drive-In, another train lies abandoned along the tracks, a reminder of how the world simply froze the day the bombs fell. Northeast of Egret Tours Marina, a massive red bridge holds a striking sight, a full train perched above the wasteland, like a monument to pre-war industry suspended in time. And near Ten Pines Bluff, we discover something different, a military train wreck. Hidden inside is a power armor cage, locked behind a terminal, suggesting the military once used these trains to transport classified technology. As you explore Fallout 4, you may notice something curious. The freight boxcars and containers aren't all the same. Some are painted red, others green, blue, or even yellow. So why the variety? There are a few possibilities. First, it might simply be for visual variety. Bethesda often changes colors and textures to break the monotony of the wasteland and make each location feel unique. A bright yellow container, for example, really pops against the gray ruins. Second, The colors could represent different companies in Fallout's pre-war economy. Just like in our world, railroads would have moved cargo for multiple clients: red for consumer goods, green for agriculture, blue for shipping companies, and so on. It's subtle world building that suggests the Commonwealth once had a thriving trade network. And finally, some players believe the colors act as hints about cargo type. For instance, green often feels military, linked to supplies or weapons. Red could be civilian or industrial freight. Yellow might indicate hazardous or construction materials. Bethesda never confirmed this, but it's a fun detail that adds depth when we imagine what each abandoned car once carried. In the end, the container colors might be part design choice, part lore hint. But together, they help the Commonwealth feel like a real place, where even something as small as a splash of paint tells a story about the world before the bombs. Now here's the thing. Trains in Fallout 4 don't actually move, but that doesn't mean they're meaningless. Each one still tells a powerful story. They remind us of the world before the bombs, of industrial might, military secrets, and the thousands of lives that once depended on them every single day. Think of Bedford Station, tied to a failed railroad rescue, or the military wreck near Ten Pines Bluff, hiding its power armor cage. These trains aren't just scrap metal. They're ghosts of America's past, frozen on the tracks. So, why don't they work? The real answer is technical. Bethesda never designed Fallout 4's engine to handle moving trains. In fact, here's a fun piece of trivia. In Fallout 3, the moving subway cars you saw weren't really trains at all. They were actually NPC characters wearing train meshes that moved along a path, a clever but clunky trick to make the metro feel alive. Fallout 4 skipped this entirely, leaving trains as static set pieces instead. But that leaves us with an interesting question for the future. In Fallout 5, would you want to see working trains, maybe even as a fast travel system across the map? Or should they remain haunting relics of the old world, silent reminders of what was lost? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and I'll see you out there in the wasteland.